Hello, my name is Bob Priest. I'm the principal of Van Wert High School. Each year, Van Wert City Schools puts on a teacher endowment banquet. This banquet is to recognize the impact that teachers have had on students. Allow me to give you a little bit of history to the teacher endowment banquet. Ralph Gallipoo, Glenn Livingston, and Gil Smith were persons of character. Their enduring legacy lives on in their students. Proof that a teacher can make a difference. None of these men sought recognition, yet each was held in the highest esteem. Their reward was self-evident, though often underestimated: the knowledge of a life well lived. This endowment fund is created in their memory and the memory of countless other educators who have dedicated their lives to the most noble of professions, teaching. On a normal year, we would have students bring the teacher who has had a direct impact on the lives of those students, stand and have each student read a letter to them in person. Because of social distancing and the inability to have this banquet, we have asked each student to videotape him or herself reading this letter. Over the course of the next 14 days, we will air each student reading this letter to the teacher who has made a difference in his or her life. And now I'd like to introduce Katie Howder, senior, Van Wert High School, as she recognizes Katie Edelblue.
Dear Miss Edelblue, it makes me laugh to think that when I first started your World Lit class my sophomore year, I was intimidated and frankly a bit scared of you. While most of this was likely due to the fact that I was still rather new to high school, the parts that I currently appreciate about your teaching style were also at fault. For example, you rightfully expected us to give out answers to your questions during your presentations and joked around with those that did not get the answers right. That, actually, is when I discovered that we share a bit of the same humor. This humor also occurred when you absolutely roasted my performance on various projects, like my apparently awful research paper in contemporary American history to my humiliating loss of a trial in rights and responsibilities. I don't know if you know this, but in some way or another, I've had you in class for 6 semesters of school in 5 classes. Due to this, I think I can rightfully guess that you know me pretty well by now, and I know you. I also know that anytime I needed you, you were there and willing to listen, even if it was just for 2 minutes before the class I was your TA in, or if I finished all my work and was bored for the last 10 minutes of a history elective. Anytime that I walked into your room with even a sliver of disappointment painted on my face, you asked me what was wrong and listened when I complained. Just to simply have an ear that would listen and provide occasional comments made a real difference in my high school life. Furthermore, the classes that you had me in likely contributed to the connection I made with you, as the material has always been interesting to me. Every day I sat through World Lit History, Rights and Responsibilities, Contemporary American History, Current Events, and American Civil War, as well as 4 semesters of classes I was your TA in. Every time these periods arrived in the slowly passing school day, I breathed a sigh of relief. A sigh that meant I would get a break and learn something that actually interests me and is taught by a teacher who knew how to communicate in a way that I would understand. Besides academics, you taught me how to be the confident and open-minded person that I am today. You took a sophomore girl whose strong political ideology could not be broken and made her visualize and understand that the other side may have some good points now and again, even if I don't want to admit it. However, you were also nearly the only teacher who managed to hear my opinionated side, because you were the one that made it known that you wanted to hear the things my classmates and I had to contribute, and you made me comfortable. While other teachers had the hardworking and quiet Katie, you often had the reactive and somewhat loud Katie. This may come to a shock to some of my other teachers, but I was always talkative in your classes, and thankfully you knew when to tell me to stop talking. Overall, I want to thank you for being the most influential teacher and advisor I've ever had. You pushed me in small ways to become better, while still making me feel comfortable. Also, you typically laugh at my jokes, which is a feat all on its own. The difference you've made in my life is incredible, and I hope I can grace someone else's life in the same way one day. Thank you for all that you have done.
I would like to thank you for listening and learning how this educator has impacted the life of this student. Students, I'd like to thank you for taking time to video yourself, sending me that message so that we can let the educator know of the impact that he or she has had on your life. And for those educators who are receiving those letters, congratulations. You carry on the legacy of the three gentlemen that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and know that you are persons of character and the legacy lives on. I congratulate you. Thank you.